The Paleolithic, the Old Stone Age. The usual image we get is of windswept open plains, giant megafauna like mammoth and mastodon. And, of course, the nomadic bands of hunter-gatherers coated in furs and wild hair, traversing hundreds of miles of tundra and subarctic conditions to get to their next meal. A hard life, borne testament to by a scattering of unique items and cave art found in the archaeological record. Bone carvings, intricate bone tool technologies, tailored clothing, symbolic, technological and artistic innovations. Perhaps the key to surviving this harsh European climate. Innovations developed on the edge of this ice world, which may have then spread to other areas, much of which still populated by older bands of proto-people. It was in this landscape that our ancestors, Homo sapiens, vied with their Neanderthal cousins for resources, land and food, eventually winning this evolutionary cage match. Now, however, in 2020, an astonishing new find, not on European plain, but in dense South Asian jungle, is changing our perception of that ancient time forever. For here, in the sweltering rainforests of Sri Lanka, is found not only some of the earliest evidence of our species' journey out of Africa, but, amazingly, some of the earliest evidence of the indigenous technological innovations that made this journey possible, and would eventually go on to define our species. A revolutionary new hunting tool that would go on to become a mainstay all over the world, spreading to every corner of the globe, and used for almost every conceivable situation, inspiring a plethora of newer innovations to follow over the long millennia. For here, deposited some 48,000 years ago, was found evidence of what many experts are describing as the very first bow in history, to be found outside of Africa, older than any found in Europe. Let's take a look. Hi guys, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of this video, Magellan TV, the premier documentary streaming service on the web. For just a small monthly fee, you can find thousands of documentaries on almost any subject you can think of, streamed directly to your phone, your tablet and your smart TV. This is technology that our ancient ancestors would be absolutely amazed by. My current recommendation is The Lives of the Pharaohs, a fascinating look at ancient Egypt. I've teamed up with the guys at Magellan to offer you an exclusive month-long free trial. Head on over to try.magellantv.com/Pete Kelly History or click in my link in the description below. Now, back to the ancient world. Sri Lanka. Just south of the vast Indian subcontinent. Lush, forested jewel of the Indian Ocean. In recent years, site of brutal conflict and civil war. In the lowlands, vast, sprawling cities like Colombo hold sway. like the rest of the world, modern development having removed much of the deep past from the landscape. Yet, outside of these urban conurbations, it's different. Lush highlands spread out into the landscape, filled with relics of the past. Hidden caves thousands of years old, temples, mountaintop citadels. Innumerable archaeological sites are found here, strewn over a vast expanse of wilderness, coated in roots obscured by the passage of time. Most are from a relatively recent age, the last 2,000 years or so. A plethora of ancient and medieval kingdoms having thrived here in antiquity. A handful, however, like most wilderness areas of the world, are much older. One cave in particular, located deep in the heart of Sri Lanka's wet zone forests, stumbled upon in the 1980s, just as ethnic tensions on the island threatened to erupt into a new all-out war, is much, much older. This is Phar Hien Lena Cave, not just one of South Asia's pivotal sites for human prehistory, but for the entire world. In recent years, evidence has been found here of the very first known anatomically modern humans to enter South Asia. Hardy boat-building travellers hugging the coastline from Arabia to the Gulf to India, and finally braving the monsoon winds, either accidentally or on purpose, to arrive on the island of Sri Lanka. All taking place close to 50,000 years ago. This wasn't just people passing through, but making a home here for themselves in an untouched expanse of wilderness for thousands of years to come, generation after generation. Somewhere between 48 and 43,000 years ago. Innovating, adapting, and perfecting life in this seemingly hostile environment. Long thought to have been resource poor and thus unsuited to late Paleolithic era humans. Now we know, given the preserved remains of these settlers, their tools and their prey, that this was far from a hostile land. For those born and raised here, it was as livable as anywhere else on Earth. For we are an adaptable species. And it may be that a clever new adaptation to life in the dense forests here was the secret to their success. For here has been found possible evidence of bows and arrows, the earliest ever found outside of Africa. From the highest mountains to the deepest forests, we don't only thrive today, but increasingly it's being seen that we have always done so, inhabiting the harshest of landscapes all over the world, not just in Europe and Africa. This adaptability is what defines our species. Complex behaviour seeming to have begun around 100,000 years ago or so, perhaps as a result of adapting to the ever-changing environments in Africa's Rift Valley, and the need for increasingly complex language. Exactly how humans did adapt to rainforest landscapes after leaving Africa has long perplexed scientists. animals here in the vast, dense rainforest primarily being fast movers like monkeys and squirrels. Very different to where we evolved in Africa's Rift Valley, that being an unpredictable environment of shifting rivers, lakes, and open savanna. But now, in 2020, a new multinational study has released evidence of what have been interpreted as bone arrowheads, 48,000 years old, older than any in Europe, with other bone tools thought to have been used for making nets or clothing. Of course, it comes as no surprise that the earliest evidence of bow and arrow technology comes from Africa in open savanna environments, with a potential arrow point dating to 60,000 years ago. Of course, this, and those found in Sri Lanka, aren't definitively proven to be bows and arrows, with some researchers still arguing for them to be dart guns or spearheads used for fish. Sri Lanka's jungle environment doesn't seem particularly conducive to hunting with bows, to modern eyes anyway. Others, however, see the evidence as extremely convincing, and many remains of harvested monkeys have been found dating to this long gone by age. Specifically, microscopic analysis of 130 bone points has revealed surface cracks and other damage caused by high-speed impacts. In addition, notches and wear and tear were found at the base, indicating attachment to thin shafts. The researchers arguing these to be too short and heavy to have been blowgun darts. Also found is evidence of the culture of these people, just as intricate as any in Europe, a unique Stone Age jungle culture. No doubt steeped in mythology and texture as complex as anywhere in the world. 3 beads made from seashells from the coast, and another 3 made from a red pigment known as ochre have been found. Single pieces may have been strung together to store them for future use. Chunks of red, yellow, and silver pigment were also found, likely used to decorate bodies or objects. Perhaps these items are evidence of a trade network, or treasured heirlooms from the sea crossing. Similar to other social signalling material found in Europe around the same time. Clothes may have protected against tropical diseases and mosquitoes. It isn't definitively known whether it was modern Homo sapiens at this site, with the chance also being for Neanderthals or even the ever-elusive Denisovans. For this was a time when many human species walked the earth, and in tropical conditions, very little organic remains survive. By around 10,000 years ago, anatomically modern humans, us, had made our homes on every continent on Earth, developing extraordinary cultures and technologies everywhere we went, as a result of the geographies we came into contact with. And here in Sri Lanka, that same culture still held sway, and it would do so for many more thousands of years to come, until yet more travellers arrived from across the sea, bringing agriculture in their wake. more scans are being done in order to definitively find the purpose of the bone points at Lankan Cave. Watch this space. My name's Pete Kelly. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram for more history content, and I'll see you on the next one.